Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Katie Lens podcast. I am so glad you're here today because I want to talk about something that's honestly been on my heart a lot lately, and that is community, not just social media community, not just followers or likes or engagement. I mean, real community, real connection, real relationships. And today's episode is inspired by one of our recent Coffee with Katie community Zoom calls inside the Get Social Smart Academy. We had such a great conversation this week. It was one of those calls where we started talking about Facebook and Instagram and Meta Business Suite and collaborations and content ideas. And then the conversation naturally evolved into something bigger. And it became this reminder that none of us are supposed to build our businesses alone. And really, I think that matters more than ever before, especially in real estate, entrepreneurship, especially in a world where we are constantly online but can still feel really disconnected. So, I wanted to share a few thoughts from that conversation because I think a lot of you will relate to this. One of the things I said during our Zoom call is that social media has changed a lot over the years. I've been in the world of teaching social media. We've been a business now for almost 14 years. But before that, I think I'm probably going on about 2 decades of being online and putting out content. And the algorithms change all the time. The platforms evolve. There's always another app. There's another update, another feature, some other thing we're supposed to be doing. And I know for a lot of folks, even just if you're not using social media for real estate or for business, it can just feel really overwhelming. And if you are an entrepreneur or you are a realtor, it can absolutely be overwhelming. I mean, I hear things all the time. Like, I hear people say things like, I feel so behind, or like, Katie, I don't even know where to focus. Do I need to be on threads now? What about TikTok? What about edits? What about Facebook? What about Instagram? And the thing is, sometimes I honestly think we overcomplicate all of it. I mean, at the end of the day, as I've been saying for years, social media is still about relationships. It still comes down to people. And one of the things we talked about on this community call was engagement and connection. We talked about using things like the favorites tool on Instagram and Facebook, which I love. I don't know if you know how to do that, but it is such a great way to be really intentional. You can go to the menu feed or the menu button on Facebook to find your feeds tab. And within that tab, you can look at anyone that you have indicated as a favorite. Maybe it's a past client or someone in your community or a local business page. Same thing with Instagram. If you're on Instagram right now, or if you're on Instagram at any point in the future, you can open up Instagram, click on the Instagram logo, and you'll see a little drop down that says following and favorites. And you could add, I think it's up to a few dozen people as your favorites on Instagram or Facebook. And the nice part about that is you are naturally going to see them come up in your feed more often. So you're actively like adjusting the algorithm to what you want to see versus a bunch of ads. And then not only that, you can go right to your favorites feed. I've been doing this for years where I open up Facebook or Instagram, I go right to my favorites list. And these are the people that I really want to connect with. I want to be intentional, right? Not just be a drive-by liker. I just think nowadays, honestly, most people are just scrolling and they're not commenting, they're not liking, engagement is down. I don't care who you talk to. And so, honestly, one of the ways to improve that is to be intentional with how you are engaging. If somebody sends you a video and and says, oh my gosh, this is so funny, like, don't just watch it, like it, leave a comment, maybe share it back with somebody else. Instead of just sort of passively being this passenger on social media, be engaged, be intentional. And it's not just posting, right? It's being really intentional. So again, I mean, it's all about relationships. It all comes down to people. One of the big things we talked about on the call was engagement and connections. And again, using the favorites feature. One of the things I really love, I'm seeing a lot of realtors doing in our academy, is like intentionally engaging with local businesses on social media. Like, for example, some of you know I've been talking about this quite a bit. I joined my local Rotary Club back in like January, February. It's been amazing. I have met more local leaders and local people in my community than I think I've ever known before. And what the beautiful part about that, I mean, if I was a local realtor, I would probably, first of all, check out Rotary because I think it's a great local organization, or any other local organization in your area that's involved in the community. And if you are commenting on, as an example, your local Rotary Club's posts, guess who's seeing that? Well, anyone who's running those pages is seeing that, but also anybody else in the club who happens to be liking, commenting, engaging. Maybe it's the speakers, maybe it's featured guests. So you have to think about who is actually seeing your comments, right? It's not just whoever runs that account, it's anybody else who might be looking at that content. So we have to think about, where are your people hanging out, right? Where are you going to connect with the local community? Is it the local PTA Instagram? Is it the local, I don't know, mom and pop business or newsletter or blog? Is it the local radio station? Is it the country club or the tennis club or where you love to play golf? Like, all of those places are so great, especially if you're in real estate, to not just follow those businesses, but like add them as favorites and then just be intentional. I talk a lot about this idea of contenting, not just, or I'm sorry, commenting, and not just contenting, right? There's so much power in just the noticing, being a noticer, which I think is really key. And, again, it's just been interesting as I look to see what's working for us, as I look to see what's working for a lot of our academy members, what's not working. And there are so many great local organizations that you can connect with, right? So whether or not it's Rotary Club, maybe it's your local Chamber of Commerce or a networking group or your church or your kids' sports teams. It doesn't always lead to like business right away. And I think if you come from it at a place of like, I'm going to build these relationships, you're in it for the long haul. And that's what it's all about, right? People want connection, people want community. And I think it's beautiful when you take the online, offline, and when you can bridge online and offline relationships. And I think all of this is obviously really important in real estate because, real estate's always been a relationship business. Of course, social media matters, video matters, AI matters, but relationships are the heart of everything. I was just on a call recently with our masterminders who came to our Get Social Smart Vegas mastermind last year, and we've continued doing coaching with them. And what was so interesting is hearing all the different tools and what they're using, but time and time again, what came up is the value of investing money and time in working with a coach like myself or others who can give you that expertise, who can give you that discernment. Because sure, you could go to Claude or ChatGPT or Gemini and be like, hey, can you come up with a social media plan? Can you write a video script? And if you don't know any better, you're just going to copy and paste and do it without having any of that discernment of like, wait a minute, I don't think that's really going to work. I don't think that really sounds like me. How can I make this be true to who I am? So relationships are where it's at. Engagement is at kind of an all-time low, in my opinion, from what I've seen. But I think the opportunity here, and one of the things that I'm really leaning into, is relationships. I think that is what it's all about. A couple other things I just want to touch on that we talked about during this coffee with Katie. We also talked about the power of collaboration and collaborative content on Instagram. Now, I've been loving this feature. This is such a great example of community over competition. Like when you collaborate with a lender or a title rep, a stager, a local business owner, your content is reaching more people because you're working together instead of just trying to do it all yourself. And I think that's such a great metaphor for business in general. You don't have to do it all alone. You don't have to figure it all out yourself. And sometimes social media can feel like everybody else has it all figured out, but they don't, right? Trust me, even after all these years, I am still learning. I'm still testing, trying new things, asking questions. And that's one of the reasons I love our Academy community so much. People ask questions, people share ideas, people help each other out. And sometimes someone asks a question that everybody was secretly wondering too. And that's so powerful. I also think there's something really special about having a place that you can show up imperfectly, where you can ask questions without feeling silly, where people encourage you instead of like competing with you. And I think in 2026, that's why community matters so much. I mean, I've been an entrepreneur again for almost 14 years. I think entrepreneurship can sometimes feel lonely. Real estate can sometimes feel lonely. Content creation can feel lonely. And if you've ever felt that way, I'm here to say you're not alone. One of the things I loved about our recent Zoom is just honestly how organic it was. Like I said, we talked about Facebook, Instagram, threads, collaboration posts, algorithms, Meta Business Suite. But we also laughed, we connected, we shared ideas, people helped each other out. And these are conversations that are honestly some of my favorite parts of what we do inside the Academy. I mean, yes, I love teaching strategy, but I also love creating spaces where people feel supported. And this month coming up in June is actually a really special month because we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary of the Get Social Smart Academy. 10 years. And it honestly feels wild to say it out loud. 10 years of trainings, coffee with Katie calls, Zooms, masterclasses, templates, content calendars, conversations, friendships, support, growth. And when I think about what has made the Academy really successful for the past decade, it's not just the content, right? Content is everywhere. We know this. It's really the community and the people, and it's the relationships that have formed over the years. I've always really prided myself in being a connector, and that's something that I love so much about the Academy. And I think that's something we're celebrating. So if you've been listening to this podcast and you feel like you want more support, you're looking for more accountability, just fresher ideas, more encouragement, more community, I would absolutely love to invite you to join us inside the Academy. We have an amazing group of realtors and entrepreneurs from all over who are learning together, growing, supporting each other. And especially as we head into our 10-year anniversary celebration next month, it is such a fun time to join us. We have so many fun things coming up. So you can learn more anytime. Go to katielance.com/academy, katielance.com/academy. I will put that link below in the show notes. As always, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being here and supporting the podcast. Remember, as I always say, done is better than perfect. And if you enjoyed this, the best thing you can do is share this out. Take a screenshot, share it to your stories, tag me, or share the link with a friend who you think would enjoy it. And like I said, I think community is where it's at. So would love to hear from you. Shoot me a DM. Let me know your thoughts. And until next time, I hope you have an awesome rest of your day. We'll see you soon. See you next time. Bye for now.